Hey, this is RandomRandomMan coming to you with a review of The Dark Knight Rises. Now, before I get into this review, I would like to talk about my opinion on the previous two Batman films directed by Christopher Nolan that lead up to the sequel. The 2005 reboot Batman Begins was a great beginning for the superhero after not being on the silver screen for a long time. Christian Bale was well cast as Bruce Wayne/Batman, and he really drove the movie in the whole long run, while playing the character before and after he becomes Batman. The supporting cast was great as well, including Michael Caine as Bruce's butler Alfred Pennyworth, Gary Oldman as the police sergeant James Gordon, and Cillian Murphy as Dr. Jonathan Crane/the Scarecrow, just to name a few. The action scenes in the film were excellent too. Watch and intriguing plot made the film interesting from beginning to end, with Christopher Nolan's signature sense of style in film. Great superhero film, and a great film in general. 3 years later, we got 2008 sequel, The Dark Knight, which far surpasses its predecessor in every way possible, from the performances from the cast to the jaw-dropping action scenes. Once again, the cast does an outstanding job here, including the new additions such as Aaron Eckhart's DA Harvey Dent, Two-Face, and of course, the late Heath Ledger's Joker, who gives one of the most outstanding performances ever given by an actor in film. The story is great with many twists and turns added in, and the action on screen is just flat out amazing and stunning to see, and is, in my opinion, Christopher Nolan's greatest film he has ever made. Easily one of the best superhero movies of all time, and certainly one of my favorite movies as well. Now, let's move on to The Dark Knight Rises. Upon the film's announcement, I was really excited to see how the Dark Knight Trilogy would finally end. That being said, when the new cast members were announced, I was a little iffy about the new cast members, but I knew they were going to be in good hands with Christopher Nolan directing and all. Now, what did I think of the film? In a nutshell, this is a near-perfect masterpiece and my favorite film of the year so far, and one of the best conclusions to a film series ever. Let's just talk about the cast. Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne/Batman does a really good job as a lead role once again, and he really makes the film become complete altogether. Michael Caine as Alfred is always a joy to have on screen, Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon is just as cunning as ever, and Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox is just as tech-savvy as ever. That being said about the returning cast, the new cast members were a bigger surprise than I expected. Marion Cotillard as the philanthropist Miranda Tate is great to see as a good measure for Bruce Wayne, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is remarkable as the intelligent police officer John Blake. The villains were the biggest thing driving this film, and Tom Hardy as the terrorist known as Bane was not only chilling and intimidating, but he was also smart on a mental level while squaring off against Batman in a physical level. But the biggest surprise for me was Anne Hathaway as Selina Kyle, also known as the Catwoman, who I did not buy too much from the trailers, but when I did see her on screen, I saw how slick she was and how she interacted with everyone, which made me actually buy her in the film. With that said, the cast was the best part in any Batman film that I've seen, as they drove the movie from beginning to end. Now for the plot. Bruce Wayne has not been seen for 8 years in Gotham ever since the death of Harvey Dent, and Bane is trying to terrorize Gotham and leave it in ashes meanwhile. Eventually, Bruce Wayne and Bane cross paths and will have to face off to fight for Gotham's freedom or destruction. The plot alone leaves the scale of the film to be very high and pulls it off very nicely in all the stakes being put during the film. The action scenes, while being very destructive, they are amazing to watch and will satisfy any action fan out there. After the film has reached its very high climax and it heads towards the end, it really blends everything together, and the conclusion makes the last couple of minutes of the film one of the most satisfying endings to a film trilogy ever. This film is just that amazing to witness, and it's a real feast for your eyes. Now, I'm not going to bother comparing this film to the other predecessors, because each film's tone is very different in every way possible, which makes each of the film great. But it makes the trilogy even more amazing in its entirety. Simply put, this is a great ending to a great trilogy. One of the best superhero films ever made, and one of the best films of the year so far. Overall, I give The Dark Knight Rises a 9.75 out of 10. This has been Random Random Man. I'll catch you later on the next movie